Welcome to SAFC Unfiltered, the first ever in-vision SAFC Unfiltered on location where the away kit launch was filmed here in Durham. And today we're joined by Gary Bennett. Hello, Gary.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. We are in unfamiliar surroundings. Well, familiar for you because you spent a lot of time here shooting a promotional video recently for the new away kit. Have you ever had to act before like that, Gary?
I've done a bit of acting before, don't worry about that.
Have you?
On and off the field, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, we've got Hummel back, and it's a big story, and supporters have really embraced the campaign so far because I guess it invokes lots of good memories. You know, a time when you were at the club for the majority of the time that Hummel were associated with Sunderland as well. And can you understand the connection the fans have with a kit manufacturer? Yeah,
definitely so. Surprisingly, that I've been looking on social media, and there's a picture which has been going about. I don't know if you've seen it.
Is it the one of you at Roker Park?
At Roker Park on the old lawnmower,
yeah.
And actually we've got the Hummel kit on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's great memories because, again, you know, for a player to be on the lawnmower, I don't think it's allowed nowadays, but it just goes to show you, you know, when you go back and look back on things like that, the memories which it brings back.
Yeah, and obviously as well, it immediately will evoke memories of certain games, you know, the styles at the time, the very small shorts as well, which you were quite famous for wear as well. But it was just a fashion then, I guess. Everyone had them on.
Well, definitely so. And again, at the time, we didn't think that they were short shorts. We just thought they were long shorts. But again, when you look back on it, you're thinking, wow, they are short. But yeah, you know, when you look back at the Hummel kit and obviously the home, especially kit and the away kit, and obviously Hummel stamped all over it. And again, we had, you know, you look at the colours which we had. You know, we had a red and white kit. Yep. We had even a yellow kit, yellow and blue kit. We had a blue kit, which was very, very popular. Yeah,
absolutely. And I guess one of the most famous kits from that era was the 92 away one, because you got to play a massive game in it. You know, you got the final of the FA Cup in 1992. It was a very famous cup run as well. Sunderland at the time, second division. Malcolm Crosby was temporary manager on the cup run as well. And you found yourselves against Liverpool in the final. What were your memories of that famous cup run?
Well, the cup run itself, you know, it's always a boyhood dream, really. And you know, when Sunderland are in the FA Cup, everyone reflects back to 1973. Can we go on a cup run? And you know, fingers crossed, you needed a bit of luck, and hopefully once you set out there, you're thinking hopefully we can get on a cup run. But as we've gone further and further in the competition, then it started to become real.
And obviously, at the time as well, the league form was a little bit different, wasn't it? It was a season where you were looking like struggling as well. Was the cup run, or generally speaking, our cup runs a welcome distraction sometimes to the week in, week out of league football?
Well, they are a welcome distraction, and sometimes it can work in your favour, and also it can work against you. Yeah. You know, hopefully, you know, you can go on a good cup run, and hopefully that'll, shall we say, ignite your form in the league. But also it can go the other way, where you can have a good cup run and basically your league form falls away.
Yeah, and just thinking about that side, particularly in the 92 Cup run, John Byrne, of course, scoring in every round apart from the final. Bawley's in there, yourself, Brian Atkinson, Gordon Armstrong scored a famous goal, didn't he, against Chelsea as well. But these are all names as well, which still resonate with the fans, those characters. What was the dressing room like back then?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, and you look back, and you've just mentioned a few names there, and it's interesting that a couple of players that you've mentioned there are young players.
Yeah,
and it's sort of similar to what Sunderland are now. You know, we've got a team of young players. But as you just mentioned, Brian Atkinson, we had the likes of Gary Howes, you had Gordon Armstrong coming through, David Rush coming through as well. So we had a lot of young players coming through, and one or two experienced players like myself and Kevin Ball.
Yeah, and you know, we did a night, didn't we, celebrating the 92 run at the Stadium of Light before the end of the season actually, and it was sold out evening, and lots of people had very fond memories of that. And you know, something I came across really a lot on that evening was all the people on stage. Yourself, it was Gordon, Bawley, and Brian Atkinson as well. You obviously have this relationship where you just pick up where you left off, and you all have an affinity with Sunderland, which is quite strong actually as well.
Yeah, definitely so. And again, you know, our sort of relationships, not just on the field but off the field, was key, you know, for us to get to the cup final. And saying that, when we got to the cup final playing against Liverpool, Liverpool weren't playing the best of football, and we always fancied ourselves thinking that we could get a result, and we had a couple of opportunities. John Byrne had a chance. If that would have gone in, it might have been different, but overall, for us to get to the cup final was fantastic. Yeah,
it was. And, you know, ultimately, Liverpool did turn it on the day. They're showing their class. Michael Thomas scoring, and Ian Rush as well. What was it like playing against them on the day? Was there moments in the game where you thought, they might have got the better of us here? Or did you always believe?
I think once the goal went in, they scored just after half time. Once that goal went in, they grew with confidence. And we were basically chasing the game, you know, and all of a sudden you see in the old Liverpool, and, you know, we talk about the likes of Jan Molby at the time, who, shall we say, dictated the game from the middle of the park.
And you were lucky to play at Wembley a couple of times for Sunderland. It was quite a lot made about how big the pitch was and the atmosphere at Wembley. What was the atmosphere like, particularly from the Sunderland fans?
Oh, fantastic. Well, no matter where you go, you know, we mentioned Wembley, it makes it special playing at Wembley, but we all know that any time Sunderland are playing away from home, you know, there is going to be a fantastic atmosphere. You know, we've been to many grounds where we've took over 10, 15,000 supporters, but just imagine you're going to Wembley. Yeah. You know, we're taking, 40, 50,000. You know, it's a fantastic stadium to play in.
And obviously you've been on the other side of the touchline. Most recently in your broadcasting career, you've seen many Sunderland trips to Wembley like we have in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Haven't we? We've been down there a lot, and particularly when we went up against Wickham that afternoon when we finally did it. You know, the crowd that afternoon was something else, wasn't it? Yeah,
the crowd, myself, I think everybody else who's associated with Sunderland, it was a huge relief. And I think when it happened, I think we were still pinching ourselves. Yeah. You know, because we've waited so long, you know, the amount of times we have been to Wembley and just obviously not been able to get over the line. So it's a fantastic relief. But, you know, that's what it's like following Sunderland Football Club.
Yes, ups and downs.
It is a journey.
It is a journey. It's a roller coaster at times. But we are back in the Championship now. We had a brilliant return when we first got back to the Championship. Last season was a bit indifferent for obvious reasons as well. Just thinking about you as a footballer as well, now is the period of time when the lads are coming back into training. They're back now. Traditionally speaking, were you and your colleagues ones to watch yourselves in the summer break? Or was the first day of training always hard?
I think you look back now, I think pre-season's changed. You look at the players now and, you know, they are fit. Yeah. You know, they keep themselves right. You know, they eat the right sort of food. You know, you're going back when, obviously, when we were doing pre-season, we used to use pre-season to get fit.
Right, okay, yeah.
You know, that's what it was there for. Yeah. So we had players who come back and obviously put on 1 or 2 pounds. So, but
was it always the same ones as well? Without saying, you don't name any names.
Yeah, you did. You know, but we didn't have the nutrition and obviously the types of coaches we've got now, strength and conditioning, telling you what to do. We didn't have these sort of, shall we say, programs which you took away and you worked on in the summer. Once you finished, end of the season, you went away and you was away for 6, 7 weeks. Yeah. And you just did whatever you want. Now you've got a program to stick to. Yeah. You know, back obviously in my day, you know, we used to come back from pre-season and you'd spend maybe 7, 8 days without seeing a football.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how far it's changed. You know, you're talking about running up hills, running on the sands. It was a case of getting yourself fit. But you look at the lads now, we've hardly broken up, and we're talking about coming straight back.
Yeah.
But they keep themselves fit. You've got to say that the professionals nowadays are very, very fit.
Was there any particular manager you can remember playing for at Sunderland who was particularly savage with the pre-season training, or anyone in your career where you remember thinking, dreading going back because they really put you through the ringer?
I think my pre-seasons, you always dread going back because you know what you was going for. Because them were the times when you used to maybe go into army camps for 4 or 5 days.
Really?
And again, it was a case of getting you fit. That's what the aim is.
Yeah.
I think now you see that the lads come back, and maybe after 4 or 5 days, they're off to some hot climate somewhere to go and play a couple of games. So that's how far it's changed. But I think it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
I think, you look at the players now and, the programs which they've got to stick to. Whereas obviously in our days, it was a case of you come back and you use pre-season to get fit.
And do you think you would have thrived as a modern day player now, Gary? You mentioned what the different kind of programs they're under. I guess, we all wear smartwatches now, so we know our heart rates just as we're walking up the stairs, and, we can see how many steps we've done a day.
Yeah.
I guess you just had to base it on how you felt going into a game. There wasn't the kind of analytics and the stats to look at, was there?
That's right. And you look at, again, I keep going back, in my day, you look at the backroom staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You might just have a physio, 2 coaches, and that's it.
Yeah.
You look at the backroom staff now, and you might be talking in regards of maybe at least a dozen who are actually keeping track of you, what you're doing, what you're eating. So, somebody will actually take you out who's doing that physical side of it. So everything is written down now. Everything's on computer now.
Yeah, and of course they spend all the time at the academy as well now. So they get all the breakfast, their lunch, and then they get to take away their evening meal as well. Some of them have their own dietitians. What was the diets like in your time? And you obviously didn't have an academy to go to as such either. Were you just kind of left to get on with it then?
We just left to get on with it. You look at obviously pre-match meals and stuff like that. It's all changed.
Yeah.
It's all changed. It's a case of you basically you looked after yourself. Hopefully you try to eat the right things, but now you can see, these programs which they're given, the nutrition which they're being given, the dietitians which they're being given. So, it's something which they need to stick at. We maybe in our day we would get maybe a couple of or 2 or 3 times in the season where you actually checked body fats.
Yeah.
And that was a pair of clampers.
Yeah, like a pinch test. Yeah.
Pinch test, that was it. Okay, that's it. Oh, you put on a little bit of weight, or do a bit extra running.
So, but when you say the running, was it like a beep test and things like that?
We used to do beep test. We did laps.
Yeah.
We did the up and down ladders. What you call? It's a case of you built up from maybe 50 yards, 100 yards, 200 yards, 200 meters, 400, then 800, and come back all the way down. And again, it was timed, but it was just a case of basically at that time it was a case of running until you were sick.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh well. Let's bring this back round to the kits then as well, because we're on location where the away kit was filmed, the promo campaign anyway. Are you ever aware of the kind of kit or materials you're wearing? Can you remember any kits where you thought, this is really heavy, or you're unlucky or anything like that? Are you, as a footballer, as an athlete, does it matter the material you're playing?
Not in my day, but nowadays it is. You look
small
at
percentages, isn't it?
Small percentages now. You look at the material which you're using. The amount of sweat which it's absorbing, things like that, which are taken into consideration. In our days, it wasn't. It was a case of traditional. You're red and white. It looks smart. You got an away kit. We were lucky most of the time. We had 3 kits.
Yeah.
And it used to always go down well, but now you look at the kits, the training kit, everything else what goes with it, it's key.
And did you just get 1 kit for the season? Look after your socks. If you get a hole in them, tough.
I put it this way: we didn't used to throw our shirts into the stand. we couldn't afford to do that. But now, we used to only had maybe a short sleeve shirt and a long sleeve shirt. That was it.
Yeah.
I think you look at the players now. I think they have a new shirt for every single game.
Yeah,
you know,
and a spare on the bench,
and a spare on the bench, or whatever it is. So, you know, that's how far it's gone. You know, and again, you look at obviously the track suits, the training gear which they've got. You know, our training gear was a case of, you're lucky sometimes you have to bring in your own bottoms and put your names on it, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah. So
you'll bring your own woolly hat and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, but you look now, they're all kitted out now.
They are all kitted out. What do you think of the new kits? They seem to have gone down well.
Gone down very well. You know, you always look back and you're thinking, Hummel, is it going to go down well? But like you've just mentioned before, that it brings back fond memories. You know, having the Hummel, and I think it's great that is that retro look again.
Yeah.
And I think all the supporters have brought into it.
Yeah, and the players as well. They want to feel good when they cross the white line, I guess, as well. Looking ahead at the season, Gary, you'll be there for BBC Radio Newcastle. You've spent more time. You've got more appearances from the commentary box than you have for Sunderland, and you have got quite a lot of appearances for Sunderland. I think there's only 4 the players have got more appearances for you at Sunderland. But going into a new season, are you someone who was always optimistic going into a new season, fresh start? Of course, we've got a new manager as well.
Yeah, it's always a fresh start. And we always say that it takes at least 4 to 6 games before the teams actually find their feet.
Yeah.
And you look at Sunderland, and, you know, we always optimistic, fingers crossed that, you know, if we can get off to a good start, then I think we're strong enough to be there and thereabouts. Yeah.
New manager, Regis Lebris. We, you know, being honest, as Sunderland fans, we didn't know much about him, but there was a lot of time taken to select him as the first team coach. He comes with a reputation of working with young players, and that's something obviously Sunderland have a lot of, isn't it?
Well, again, for me, you know, I think you've just got to give him a chance. You've got to give him an opportunity. And again, you know, the amount of people who've asked me about which manager they wanted to come to the club and how they're going to do. Listen, we've had some very, very good managers at the club. Yeah. You know, and at the end of the day, it's all about results.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the manager will do well, get us up and running, buys into the club, know what it's all about, knows what the supporters want, and the players as well. And, you know, we've just got to be 100% behind him.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a strong league as well. The teams coming down, joining us back again. The teams who just missed out last season as well. But do you think if Sunderland recruit right, we'll be in there and abouts? Obviously, you know.
Of course,
we should.
Definitely. I think, you know, we look back at last season. Okay, we didn't finish strongly, but we was there and thereabouts. Yeah. You know, and you know, if Sunderland are there, I think we're strong enough. We know that we're a big enough club to drive on, and it's all about, you know, if we can start off well, if we can get a good home form, get on a good run. You know that the supporters will be 100% behind the team and behind the manager and staff. So it's all about starting the season well. Yeah,
and getting some good momentum. And is Sunderland still a place where other teams would fear to come, do you think? Because of the size of the crowd, the size of the club in this division, it's a force, isn't it, to go up against?
Yeah, it is a force. And I think it just summed it up. You know, when you talk about season ticket sales.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking, wow, you know, we didn't have, shall we say, the best of finishes to the season, but to sell over 30,000 season tickets already, you're thinking, wow.
Yeah.
But that's Sunderland supporters.
Yeah, and as a professional as well, Gary, do you think we are attractive as a club because of that? You know, the fact that you were playing in front of, you know, 40,000 every single week or other week at the Stadium of Light, that's got to be a big pull, isn't it?
It's a massive pull, and you've got to, shall we say, savour the atmosphere. You've got to be sort of involved in the football club to actually realise how big a club it is. You know, it's okay, and we've done it time and time again. We've spoke to people, we've spoke to players, and you know, you get players who do come from so-called big clubs and said, "Oh, it's fine. No, I'll be able to handle it." Not on this scale.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about, you know, having near enough 40,000 week in, week out, and all they want is 100%.
Yeah, and they deserve to be in the Premier League. Hopefully it'll be the season we get back there.
Well, again, you know about Sunderland Football Club, that there needs to be something put in the media every single day. They need to read something about Sunderland. Something needs to be happening at Sunderland every single day. It's not a case of, end the season, shut shop, and that's it. And then, right, the start of season's coming, we're up and going again. You know how busy it has been, obviously, in that opening season here to the start of the season, how busy Sunderland have been.
Yeah, it's just people's lives, isn't it? Revolve around the football.
Well, it is.
The city revolves around the football club.
It's one of the top one of the top 3 things in their lives.
Yeah,
football.
Yeah, absolutely.
You take that away from them and they're lost.
Yeah. Okay then. It's not long until we get back into the season, Gary. Thanks for joining us or sticking around here at the laundry. You can go and get your smalls out now.
I thought it was a new job I was going to get in here. Talk about cleaning up.
Gary, thanks for being on SAFC Unfiltered.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.